If you were raised by a mother who needed you much more than she nurtured you and asked of you much more than she gave to you, if you were raised by a mother who kind of made you her surrogate mother, if you were raised by a mother you've had to emotionally, or in a lot of ways, even physically mother, then you were raised by a mother who was an enmeshed mother. And today we're going to be talking about how all of this enmeshment in the relationship that you've had with your mother has defined not only your relationship to her and how much you've had to do for her, but your current relationship with yourself and as an effect with others. So first of all, to begin, what is enmeshment? We hear this term a lot, and it's really important that we kind of start understanding the terminology that we're learning beyond when people talk about it. We have to look up and find the definitions so that we really understand what the terms that we're learning mean. That's not because we all have to study all of the things that exist, but so that we can understand what is happening to us, right? So enmeshment, when we're talking about relational and familiar dynamics, are when there's no real separation between the parent and their child. So the child exists as a separate person, but they're not really allowed to be that separate person. They're more so an extension, and they're just really intertwined with the parent, which means the parent's experience, how they're feeling, what they want, what they're needing, whatever's happening to them is taking up all of the space, and it's becoming the experience of the child. The child cannot go out here and experience something else because the parental experience, the parent, whatever it is that they're going through, is much bigger, right? So they overtake the world. And of course, there's no boundaries, right? Enmeshment literally is the lack of boundaries. So it's not really, we're really close with my mom. We're just, best friends. It's when we are entangled in their inner world. So the child is becoming such an important person to the parent that it feels like they're parenting their own parent, right? You are becoming the surrogate mother to your mother. You're soothing her, you're adjusting yourself for her, you're understanding her, you're available to her. So instead of becoming or being a child that is cared for, you are becoming the one that actually cares for others, which is the birth of essentially codependency, but that's for another video. Now, who is the enmeshed mother? Right, so the enmeshed mother, we're not going to be talking about, is she narcissistic? Is she codependent? She is possibly a little bit of both, depending what's going on in your family. But what we are talking about today is the trait, not even the trait, the relational experience of enmeshment. So this woman will see you as an extension of herself, right? She does not comprehend or accept that you're having a different experience than her, right? She's the type of mother that if you're, for example, happy or you're going through something that's nice, she will come back and say, but what about me? Have you thought about me today? I'm going through this and now you're doing this. Like, she doesn't understand that you can hold a different experience and have a different sort of like something that's happening good in your life, for example, when she's sad. Everything that she's going through is more important. So that will kind of bring you to the narcissistic sphere of how the narcissistic mother operates, which I have a video. I have actually a lot of videos, but you can start from here. But I will link it somewhere here or here. I don't know where it's going, but she does not accept that you can be your own person and have your own experience. This enmeshed mother will involve you in her emotional turmoil with your father. She will vent, she will overshare, right? And put you in this triangle between him and you, and kind of like, so, oh, he did this, he did that, as if you're her little girlfriend. And the thing is that as you grow up, you may start to understand why she felt the way that she did toward your father as you start dating men. But the thing is that as a child, this man is your father. You shouldn't have access to how he is as a lover, as a husband, as a partner to her, because that role is not the one that you're experiencing him through. And as a child, it is very difficult to navigate knowing such details, which then sort of messes up how you relate to him, right? So the enmeshed mother will treat you like a little friend, therapist, partner, and also she will fill out her time with you, right? It's almost like when she's bored, you're a little doll she needs to play with. She will keep calling you. It's almost like she cannot exist on her own and you're always there having to somehow entertain her. This woman, of course, expects you to emotionally regulate her, to guide her through things, to walk her through, and to take on whatever it is that's happening to her. She expects you to always be available to her. She will struggle a lot seeing you be independent and not need her, because she knows that you need her as a mother, and through that need, she is taking what she wants from you. Now, the other things that she does, this woman obviously has no boundaries, and she will always invade into your inner world and private stuff, and there's no understanding of any of that, right? There's no respect. Now, more so than that, the enmeshed mother is a woman who used to be a girl who then grew into becoming a mother. So what is the dynamic that explains this mother? Not to say that this explanation will be the focus of today's video and the work that we're going to do so that we are, we navigate this experience. But she was created somehow, right? So this woman showed up to motherhood enmeshing herself with her child, especially her daughter, because she herself probably has a mother like that. And it's the typical that maybe her mother died 20 years ago and she keeps talking about her mother as if she's there. Like she herself did not separate or individuate from her own mother. And she does not have a stable sense of self. Like she's not emotionally mature enough. She doesn't comprehend boundaries. When you take distance, she feels rejected. She's trying to regulate herself through the others, right? It's the drama with your dad, it's the drama with whoever it is, and it's you trying to manage all of that. So there's a relational history that she brings into their relationship to motherhood that is basically emotional immaturity and not being allowed to have a self, to become a self, and to feel good about that self, and to regulate that self, and to meet the needs of that self, right? There's none of that. And then this woman came to motherhood, as many have done so, and suddenly have this child in front of you, ready to do anything for you because this child adores you. So you're like, great, I am going to use this child as a resource, right? So I just want to clarify here. We talk a lot about trauma and abuse and things that parents do that are indeed very abusive. And enmeshment is so traumatic. Being in this enmeshed relationship is absolutely the heaviest thing, right? But in my experience, it's not a malicious type of abuse like we would see in other things that these narcissistic parents do, for example. I'm not saying this to compare the trauma. I'm just saying that if we've been in a relationship with an enmeshed mother, there's obviously huge amount of responsibility of why she's the way that she is and how she should have done the work. But that's our problem here. And this is why it's important that I say this. Showing up to motherhood, unmet, feeling insignificant, with no sense of self, no personal sort of direction inward, and just obsessed with the person that you just tried to marry and keep and doing all that, will have you struggle to cope with anything. And if you have a child, specifically daughters, but it doesn't really matter what it is, but it's usually the daughter, you will attach to her because you need to be mothered through life still. You are unmothered. I want you to hold on to the fact that that woman is unmothered and has, as an effect, left you unmothered and had you mother her. And I'll come back to this later, all right? Now, how does it affect you that this woman was so enmeshed with you, right? That she didn't allow you to become your own person, to have your independent experience, and also didn't burden you with having to raise her. You became now a woman who is always hyper aware of other people's emotions, scanning for how people's moods are changing. You're constantly feeling responsible for others, and you want to prevent that something happens to them because you feel like if something happens to them or they have some type of challenge, I have to fix it. So I'm going to make sure this challenge doesn't find them. So I'm going to try to prevent things and navigate things and anticipate things for everyone. So you are mothering. Basically, you're mothering everybody around you, partners, friends, everybody except yourself, which is what you ultimately need to do, but we'll get to that later, right? So as a daughter of a mother who was enmeshed with you, you feel guilty for saying no, for pulling away. You don't know how to set the boundaries, and you feel really bad and guilty when you do set them. You only feel valuable when you're giving, helping, saving, fixing. That's your thing. That's where you thrive. That's where you know who you are, and you tolerate so much. Actually, you tolerate very little, basically bare minimum, and below that, because eventually, if you've been enmeshed and all you've had to think about is her experience and you weren't really allowed to your own, in time that translates into your personal relationships, and you show up and you're like, does it matter how I feel? No, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're happy. So it's very easy to just center always your attention to other people and very quickly discard your own experience. It doesn't matter. And even if it did, who's going to be there for this? I don't know what it's like for someone to help me navigate my inner world. I just know how to do that for others. So I'm going to continue to mother others. Hopefully one day, one of them picks up the technique and mothers me finally. That's the hope. That's the illusion. But, the daughter of the enmeshed mother feels very unseen and ultimately unknown. It's almost like nobody really knows you. Nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody seems to truly understand you or see you. And even if someone is around saying that they do or trying to do so, you have so fundamentally been deprived of the experience to be seen and understood and met that no matter how much someone will pour you today, it feels like it cannot reach you. Anything and anybody externally that tries to give you this mothering that you missed out on and so much crave for, will not be able to fulfill that gap. And all you're going to do is just want more because it's just never enough. And the reason is because nobody can mother us after childhood is over. The process of being mothered, as you saw, you tried to mother your mother. Look where that got you. Did she get mature after all that mothering? No. Did she get this sense of worth? No. You may have coached her through things and help her do things. She's not more emotionally mature because of you. So how do we heal from having an enmeshed mother? Well, there's a few tips and tricks as usual. I say a few of them just so that I sound a little bit more useful. But I don't really believe these things are what's going to help. And I'm going to tell you later what's really going to help. But, you have to sort of like check in with yourself when you're trying to feel responsible for everybody else. Don't respond to her reactions, blah, blah, blah. And set boundaries, give only what you can, say no to her, blah, 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 blah. But really all you need to do is become your own person. And the way that you will become your own person after being enmeshed all your life and therefore never become your own person is to go back here and be with yourself and reparent and remother yourself to such an extent where you're no longer out there looking for a mother to mother you by mothering her. That's the answer. How do we heal enmeshment? Set boundaries with your mom. Sure. Set the boundaries. Sit with the discomfort. Tell me how that goes. Badly. Because at the end of the day, you start feeling guilty. You tell her, stop doing that. Those are my boundaries. Well, you feel bad. But if you begin to parent yourself instead and mother yourself instead and focus on your experience, because evidently you're really good at mothering others. And you know that because you've been mothering your mother all your life, and you're probably mothering your partner, your husband, your friends. This is something that comes natural to you. So now we're going to bring all of that mothering energy that we have been pouring into others in the hope that one day they will show up enough for us and mother us as well and care about what we need. And one day when we paid all our dues, these people would turn around and be like, finally, I'm going to do this for you. So we're going to have to stop doing all of that, bring the attention inward, and become to ourselves the mother that we needed, who will be the exact opposite from the mother that we had. Because this mother here will be emotionally mature enough to attune to our needs, to be present with us, to guide us through things, to coach us through things, to help us navigate things. And also, this internal mother will have the wisdom that we've acquired all these years of our lives, and the magical sort of like key that she knows exactly, you know exactly what we need, right? Because at this moment, for someone to meet you perfectly, you can just tell them, I want you to do this for me. They'll do it. Be like, doesn't quite feel, because the only one that knows exactly what you need right now at this age is you. And now, thanks to wisdom and thanks to knowledge, thanks to everything, you have the words for it and the practices. And the practice to repair, to heal, and to find a self and to establish a self is going to be the practice of reparenting, which I've said this before, I don't even see as a modality anymore. It's just a way of relating to ourselves that restores the inner landscape and the way that we communicate and understand with ourselves, and helps us meet unmet, starved, like really starved needs of being seen and met effectively and efficiently. And therefore, once this happens internally, when we're finally able to see ourselves, heal ourselves, and be there for ourselves and reparent ourselves, then we navigate the world differently. All of the external change that we've been trying to create is not going to happen if we mother others more, if we stay attached to our mom until the day that she leaves this world. All the changes that we require are going to be internal. They're going to be internal movements that are going to help us initiate a different path of life and a different way of looking at life. Because so far, we're not even looking at life. We're looking at whoever we have in front of us, and we're trying to mother them, starting from our mother and how responsible we feel for her and her emotional world, to whoever it is that we are also mothering. So the way we heal, bring the attention, all of the skills, anticipating needs and being nice to and listen to, bring it here. Do reparenting if you want. I have a blueprint. It's a complete journey of healing childhood trauma, or also the choice to go through the full journey of self-emancipation, where you do much more work that has to do also with our conditioning in this patriarchal society. It's a whole thing. It's a whole journey. It's a whole vision that I'm bringing to women that want to do this type of work. But if you don't want to do the whole thing, it doesn't matter. If you do healing, inner child healing, and address your childhood wounds, there will be so many changes in your life. Not because it's magical, but because the way you will view life and the way you will relate to others will drastically change as you change the way you view yourself. Because so far, you've been raised by a mother who was enmeshed with you, you never really got to see yourself. You feel absolutely invisible and unseen and unmet. And that's true, because you were. You were an unmothered daughter that has had to mother her mother all her life, in the hopes that this mother would finally show up to motherhood. But she didn't. So you will, for yourself. I'll see you soon.